Hello everyone, Mimikins here. Today I'm going to show you high DPS Affinity longsword builds. If you're a regular viewer on my content, you might be thinking, hang on a second, we've been here before. But let me assure you, this video was justified. Not long after the last one I made, drachen armor was introduced, shortly followed by Teostra Gamma. These two sets offer high DPS and affinity, and I'll show you how I used mine. Both these armors have a set bonus called Master's Touch, which prevents sharpness loss on critical hits. It's one of my favourite set bonuses. My builds have 100% affinity on weak spots, so any sharpness loss is going to be minimal. In this video, I'm going to show you two of my favourite crafted weapons for longsword. I really wanted the Taroth Sword Fire to play around with, however, Taroth refused to drop it for me. I did get 4 Taroth Buster Ice gun lances, so if I ever have the urge to play gun lance, I can strap one to each limb. I'm sure Capcom will add the siege back in so I can be driven insane farming it again. Who knows, next time she might have even more weapons added. My two favourite all-purpose longswords are the Divine Slasher and the Empress Sword Styx. The Divine Slasher has the highest draw and does more damage per hit. The Empress Sword Styx has blast damage and the skill Razor Sharp. This is completely overpowered with Master's Touch for sharpness. I don't ever need to sharpen. I like using this to farm multiple enemies at once where I might not always be hitting the weak spot. It's also amazing for monsters weak to blast like Radhaban and Kashala. One of the next Arch-Tempered monsters added will be Kashala. In my last video I showed two sets for each weapon. A DPS build and an earplug variation. Let's look at the Divine Slasher first. This build has 100% affinity on weak spots without using the weapon's augment slot, letting you augment for health regen or attack depending on your preference. I currently have the health regen augment in since it helps keep on top of HP. This in turn translates to more DPS done if I'm not having to stop to use potions. I do have 2 attack jewels in here, but one of them is in a tier 3 slot and could easily be replaced with peak performance if you only have one. If you do choose to go down this route, then health regen augment will supplement your peak performance. This is my earplug variation. I couldn't fit all the skills I wanted into the behemoth set, so I've opted to use the Teostra Gamma set. I've prioritised capping critical hit rate on weak spots to keep that sharpness white. It does less damage per hit, but if you're having trouble evading roars or fighting more than one monster at a time, you'll have many opportunities to get some nice combos off. I'll include a monster roar level chart in the description so you can check what level you need and swap out jewels if you want. This build caps critical rate on weak spots without the use of latent power. This skill gives you a stamina and affinity buff for 90 seconds after you've been fighting for 5 minutes or taking around 180 health damage. I don't think this is a practical way of capping affinity, but when I tried to change the armors, the only build I could come up with that didn't have that skill had no additional skills whatsoever. So I think having something that occasionally activates is better than nothing. The extra affinity could be helpful when countering since it uses stamina, or when you miss a weak spot. If you do take a lot of damage and this is up often, you can even replace maximum might jewels for critical boost for more damage. Next we have the Empress Sword Styx, which is my favourite model for the longsword. It also stays crazy sharp. Fighting 3 monsters at once in the event triple threat showdown, and this is my sharpness at the end. No sharpening needed at all. If you hate having to sharpen, then this is a build that you will love. I recommend augmenting the weapon with health regen to make the most of peak performance. This is my main DPS build for it. It's pretty flexible. You can easily swap out attack or blast, jewels, charm if you feel you need something a bit more defensive for harder fights. It does do less damage per hit than the Divine Slasher, but it explodes blast damage for 120 when it goes off, and really doesn't need sharpened. I hate when I'm in the middle of a combo and suddenly lose sharpness, making me bounce instead, or lose attack power from the downgrading of the sharpness bar. This is my earplug version for those times you don't want to be roared at. A bit less damage than before, but allows you to combo the monster instead of evading roars. I know there's going to be one guy in the comments, I hate earplugs!
I hate earplugs.
I'm not forcing earplugs on you, you can use the other build, this is just an option. Not all monsters require earplugs. If you're using the Palico Orchestra, your cat will give small earplugs. Some players using the hunting horn may give you earplugs as well. Well, that's my longswords updated for the time being. Hope you enjoy using the builds. Please support the channel by liking and subscribing, and I'll see you next time.